Hi everyone, we're back with our last reading video for this week. So this week we read Bear and Kangaroo, and then we also read The Contest, and we talked about the experiences that the characters were going through, and we are going to talk more about that today. So first we're going to read Bear and Kangaroo, and then we will read The Contest. We'll read each of those again, and then we'll go back to our chart that we were working on, and we'll compare and we'll talk about both of those stories and the characters in those stories. So here we go. Let's start with Bear and Kangaroo. I am the best, said Kangaroo. I am better, said Bear. I can make a mean face, said Kangaroo. I can make a meaner face, said Bear. I can catch fish, said Kangaroo. I can catch more fish, said Bear. I can eat lots of berries, said Kangaroo. I can eat more berries, said Bear. I can climb up high, said Kangaroo. I can climb up higher, said Bear. I can juggle 3 balls, said Kangaroo. I can juggle 6 balls, said Bear. I can lift a goat, said Kangaroo. I can lift 6 goats, said Bear. I can hop high, said Kangaroo. I can too, said Bear. Okay, so that was Bear and Kangaroo. And now I'm going to flip over here and we're going to read The Contest. Let's have a contest, said Andy to Jay. I can spit my seed the farthest, said Andy. No, mine will go farther, said Jay. Andy spit his seed next to the bench. Jay's seed went past the bench. Andy's seed went 4 steps away, and Jay's went 5. Jay's seed went 1 step farther than Andy's. So Jay has 1 point. Andy spit his seed past the tree, and Jay's seed hit the tree. Andy's seed went 7 steps away, and Jay's went 6. Andy's seed went 1 step farther than Jay's. So now Jay has 1 and Andy has 1. We both won, said Andy. Now we have to break the tie. Oh no, now what? Said Jay to Andy. Okay, and that was the end there. So we are going to look at our chart that we worked on this week, and we will see that we have Bear and Kangaroo over here and some important points, and then we have the contest over here and some important points. So we talked about how Bear was always better at everything that him and Kangaroo did. But there was one thing that Bear and Kangaroo both could do equally the same, and that was they could both hop high. And we talked about how Kangaroo and Bear were feeling in this story. Both of them were having fun. Even though Kangaroo wasn't doing as well as Bear, they both still had smiles on their faces, and they had so much fun doing all of the different activities that they had for their contests. And then we talked about the contest, and we talked about how Jay and Andy, they both were spitting their seeds to see whose seed would go the farthest. So we also talked about how Jay and Andy, they both won. So they each had 1 point. And we talked about the word tie and how that means that both of these characters did something the same. Okay, so they're equally the same right now. And then we talked about how at the end of the story, Jay and Andy, they didn't break their tie because both of their seeds plopped into the water and they couldn't tell whose seed went the farthest. So they both won in their contest that they had. So today we are going to come down here to this last box and we're going to talk about both books. So a question that I have for you that I want you to think about is, how do you know when a contest is over? How do you know when you're all done with a contest? Think about that and maybe talk about it with someone next to you at home or just think in your brain. So we know when a contest is over is when everyone gets a turn to do whatever activity it is that you guys are competing against each other. So usually a contest ends when one person does something better than someone else and each person has a turn. Sometimes we see, though, in a contest, you might have to end in a tie. So my next question for you is, just set it down, it's fine. So my next question is, think about these two contests and these stories, and were they fair? So think about that and talk about it with someone next to you at home, or think about that in your brain. Okay, so both of these contests were fair. Okay, so with Bear and Kangaroo, they had a fair contest, and with Jay and Andy, they both had a fair contest. So both of these contests were fair because each character got to take a turn at the activity in their contests. So the characters were each taking turns and they each got a chance to win. So that might be something that we say we noticed about both books is that, and I'm going to write this in a different color. I'm going to do this. Let's do purple. Okay. So the contests were fair, meaning we can write the characters took turns. Okay, and they all got treated equally in the activities that they were doing. So now we're going to talk about these characters and let's think about how they were feeling in their contests. So let's start with Bear and Kangaroo. How were they feeling in the contests that they were doing in their story? So share with someone at home or think about that to yourself. So Bear and Kangaroo, they both seemed to be having fun the whole time that they were doing their contests. They were smiling in their pictures and we could maybe guess or infer or think that maybe they were laughing too while they were doing their contests. Now let's think about Andy and Jay. Did Andy and Jay have fun like Bear and Kangaroo did? Let's look at the book and let's see, because we didn't really talk about this last time. So let's look at their faces here. Okay. Ooh. So look at Andy. So this says Andy's seed went one step farther than Jay's. Look at Andy's face. He looks happy, right? Look at Jay though. Ooh, does he look like he's having fun there? I'm not sure. Oh, look here. Look at Andy's face now. He doesn't look like he's very excited or fun. And look at Jay. Jay's like, yeah. So I am thinking that this might be where Bear and Kangaroo, their experience with their contests and their activities is different from Jay and Andy's experiences in their contests. So we can put that here. We can write that bear and kangaroo have fun. And then we can write for Jay and Andy, we can say that they might have been disappointed, okay, at some point. So Jay and Andy, or you know what, maybe they're not disappointed. I'm thinking that they might be more serious about their contest. So Bear and Kangaroo's contests are just for fun, and Jay and Andy are really focused on winning and being the best. So Jay and Andy are more serious. So we just compared these two books and we talked about the characters and the experiences that they had. So they all were doing contests, and that was something that was the same or similar about both of these books. They were both doing contests, trying to see who was the best at a certain activity. But then we talked about how their experiences are different in these stories. Bear and Kangaroo are having fun, while Jay and Andy, they're more serious and focused on winning. So as you go off and you read on your own, I want you to think about the experiences of the characters. Think about what might they be feeling or thinking while you're reading the story. Think about what they might be thinking or feeling, and maybe you can compare that to another book that you've read before and think about the characters' feelings and thoughts of that book too.